from Kit and Kat. So we have something different today. Literally, the Amazon delivery van just pulled away. I just got these boxes upstairs, and the only thing I have done is try to remove the address and identifying information from the label. Our channel until now has been exclusively Smartdoll. I have been a fashion doll collector for quite some time. Came across these dolls last year, and initially I got them because I wanted to get into custom face-ups, and their heads seem about the right size or proportion. So recently they came out with a playset. They call it the fashion closet. It's meant to look like a steamer trunk or a luggage case. And they came out with the Jett Dawson collector doll and the winter break dolls. So I am going to open these. You'll see exactly how they come out of the box. We'll go over any damages or anything like this. Now, I paid for these dolls. These were not given to me by MGA. I am not sponsored in any way by any doll company, not even Smartdoll. So really wanted to kind of look at them, especially the Jett Dawson doll, because she is considered a collectible doll. So kind of want to see, is this something I want to add to my collection? And there was some discussion about how if you pre-ordered the doll, like I did, actually pre-ordered all of these, that you had a chance of getting one of these first 1,000 off the assembly line, perfect A-grade dolls. The Jett Dawson doll's numbered. So we'll see. If she's not numbered, doesn't really make a difference to me, because the doll itself is not any different in the mass commercial run versus the first 1,000. There's no additional pieces. The pieces aren't different. It appears to be that the first 1,000 were just kind of like an artist proof. No. So I'm going to go ahead and clear off some of this so that we can get to this stuff. I did just kind of unsealed the top, but I haven't taken anything out yet. So yes, we are Amazon Prime members, have been for many years. I'm gonna tip this so you guys can see. Actually, they look like they were packed pretty well. You can see our winter, you can see our Jett. So, and there's some bubble packing, so I've got my fingers crossed, guys. So I've got Jett on the table. I'm gonna go ahead and turn her around. Her box, actually coming from the Amazon warehouse, is actually in pretty good shape. She does have a little bit of a corner bash here on this side. But her front is pretty clean. I don't see any scratches. We did not get a numbered doll. She just has the wax seal and her tag. But that's okay. I wasn't really looking for a numbered one, because I'll warn you now, if you're an in-the-box collector, and I'm not, I do plan to take her out of the box. We are going to undress her, because I want to get a very good look at her joints and her articulation. I am going to be turning the clothing inside out. Since I do so, I want to see how it's finished inside. So we do have a couple of dings in either corners. The box actually comes with little plastic molded pieces on each of the corners to make it look like a trunk. So they're not printed on, they're actually attached. Mine, it looks like at some point in the warehouse where it was on the shelf or when it was dropped in the box, we've got a little bit of a ding back here and a little bit one back here. So the box is not pristine, but in overall I'd say it's in pretty good shape. I do like the graphics on the back. Kind of tip that so the light doesn't reflect off of it. We've got her concept drawing, her second dress, and her props. And I have to admit that sewing machine was kind of one of the things that made me want this. So I'm going to turn her around here, and it does say Series 1. I'm going to grab my blade here, and now I've seen others that you can kind of pull some of these tabs out and she'll release. So when we come back from camera, I don't want to cut these and then mess up the box, so I'm going to go grab my good scissors. I'm just going to pop the 3 tabs and I'm going to slide her out. So I've released her from the outer carton. There's quite a bit of plastic in here, not as much as some dolls, and actually I think the packaging was easier to get into than the regular Series 1 dolls. I am going to take my blade and my scissors. I am going to go ahead and release. There is a lot holding her in this box in her pose, and there's really no way to get at her from the back. But I do want to try to save the backdrop as much as possible. I think it'll be a lot of fun for some photo ops with the other dolls, since it just says rainbow on it. So I'll be back in a few. This is probably going to take a few minutes to complete. Okay. I left this on the table, and I know it's clear plastic, so you guys probably can't see it very well. This is the product. I've got an equally large pile of packaging material, and most of this is PET coated, so it's basically water bottle type plastic. This is supposed to be a collector doll. I understand that holiday Barbies, and I do believe this is intended to be a holiday gift idea for a child, that presentation is a big thing for a child. Being able to see the toy when it's on the shelf in the store, so that the parent or grandparent can select one. But I gotta say, guys, there has to be a better way to do this. I have bought high-end collectible dolls, and they usually come in a box that I can store them in, a sturdy box. The Silkstone dolls, I think they did a very nice job using the ribbons to tie the doll into the box. I have not removed all of the packaging and the little tags that hold things down. The dress is still on its plastic dress form. The shoes are still taped to their little plastic form. There has to be something that they can do. So at this point, this is one of my chief complaints, is just the excessive packaging, so that these dolls can be in brightly colored boxes. And the company spent a lot of money on the graphics for the box, and the metallic printing, and the plastic corners. It just seems to me that there could have been a better way to secure this doll so that it could be seen, easily removed, and you don't end up with a pile of garbage after. So that's kind of my rant on the packaging. So we're ready for the part that you actually probably tuned in for, and that's going to be the review and get a good close-up look at the doll. Like I said, I did finally manage to get all the packaging off. First thing I noticed when I pulled this doll out of the packaging, there's no product in the hair. There's actually no product in the bangs, which that really threw me, because I've gotten others of these dolls. This is my custom one-of-a-kind Poppy. That's over here is my Bella in the suit I made her, kind of upgrade her. Both of these I had to wash their hair. They had a bit of a crunchy for hair product. This is very silky smooth. The mass-produced one, the cut at the bottom of the rooting is very uneven. If it was even trimmed after they rooted the doll to begin with, it's just very uneven. The nature of the hair, the type of hair that they used, when it's straight, it is going to fall and look thinner than it actually is. I don't think her hair is any thinner than Poppy's or Bella's, although I have to admit Bella's probably the thickest rooted of any doll play line that I've seen. So this is not the numbered dolls. These are the mass release dolls. So if you can see, her top knot was kind of rushed a little bit. It's not centered. I think it's just got like one good twist, and then they rubber banded it in the back so you can see it in the front. Her bangs were trimmed. There are a few spots that are a little bit uneven, and like I said, she's got some tangles back here. And when she was rooted, she was just rooted. They usually use a type of sewing machine that punches in the head and roots, and in the inside there'll be some clear monofilament that holds those loops of hair inside her head. So she had her hair, they made an attempt to make the top knot, and that was it. She didn't get a haircut. She didn't, I'm not even sure if she got a real decent brush through. The manufacturing or the person in charge of the machine separated the hair and latched it down into her plastic packaging. It does feel like there is more colored hair than black. For me, that's not a big issue. I actually have some black that I think will match this. Yeah, I'm pulling out tangled hair here. So I'm probably not necessarily going to reroot her, but I will try to remove these tangles and just kind of fill in. I don't think she's got over 1/4 of an inch between her first row of rooting and before we get to the second one. So I understand we want to include some space so that the hair will lay flat and won't kind of poof, but with this kind of nylon hair, it's pretty silky to begin with, and it lays pretty flat, so they could have done a little bit more hair. For a $10, $20, $30 doll, once we start getting up past 30, I think she's a little more sparsely rooted than she should be for her price point. Actually, her hairline, where the top knot sections are pulled up, along her bang and along her ear and the back of her neck, that's actually pretty good. It's one good solid row. I'm not seeing any scalp in between, so it's thatched pretty good. And I am actually pretty impressed with these bangs. They've managed to get the bangs to lay flat against the forehead without sticking straight out or having to put any product. I really don't think there's any product in her front fringe. So that I'm pleased with. I'm gonna go ahead and move her hair. Her printing on her face actually seems pretty good. Her eyebrows do look symmetrical. She's got a little bit of glitter in the eye makeup, but it's not bad. These guys had way more glitter on their face. I do like the white underneath, and I like her eyelashes. I think her eyelashes might actually be an upgrade. They seem a little bit better than on my Bella. She's got kind of an ombre lip. She's got a little bit of white, like her teeth are supposed to be shining through. I like that. That's cute. She's got a little bit more black painted accent on one side than the other, but that's okay. I do like her eyes. Her eyes seem to be set right. A couple of the dolls that were coming out, the Series 1 and Series 2 were coming out with kind of wonky eyes. I do like the fact that she doesn't have shimmer on her face. Now, this Poppy is from the Cheer line, so she didn't have the all-over shimmer. She did have the little sports temporary tattoos, and they came off well. She's actually had an entire face up done. Bella does have the shimmer, and Bella's wasn't too bad. Some of the dolls I thought were a little heavy-handed, so I am happy that her face is matte, that it is not sheer, and I can't really tell, but it looks like it might be a slightly different face mold. I know a lot of people have been talking about how Jett has a different face mold than Bella, or the Series 1, Series 2 dolls. So I do like her face. I do like that. It's like she has less forehead. And with these dolls, they kind of follow that lol OMG, and I'm not a big fan of big heads. For her, it's more chibi style than I would say lol and, you know, the lol or OMG dolls. So I like that. It's a little less exaggerated. I really do enjoy the clothes, and I will have to admit that's one of the things that drew me to these, because the details go all the way around to the back. So I would not have any problem displaying this doll. And I think she would be cute in some of the dioramas and room settings. So I like the little tiny buckles. The belt on the jacket actually closes the jacket. We've got the knotted ties for the hoodie. I like the stockings. They're seamed. They're not transparent. They're flesh colored to make it look like they're transparent with the silk screen on the front. I do like the shoes. I have to admit. When I started collecting dolls, it was about 9-10 years ago, I got into Monster High, and what got me about those dolls was the level of detail and the painted details on their shoes, and the fact that the designs wrapped all the way around. So I really like these. These are actually have molded detail and painted detail, so they painted to highlight the detail. And she's got little gold rivets where her shoelaces are. She's got rainbow written across, and it's highlighted in gold. I like the fact that the bottom of the shoes actually have texture, like my Converse Chucks. We've got that little crosshatch texture. If any of you guys like Chuck Taylors or that, you'll know what I mean when I talk about that texture, that surface on the bottom of the shoe, because they always had kind of a velvety texture, and I don't know if that's to make them stick to my skateboard better at that age or not. I still wear them. So I like that. I've got a little bit of transfer black on the bottom of mine, and it looks like, I guess that's supposed to, but it looks like some of the black sketch detail kind of wrapped around the bottom a little bit. But that one's definitely a misprint. But other than that, they're pretty good. I will have to give kudos to Rainbow High for making one change that the fans asked for, and that's the stand. And go ahead. Sorry, Bella. I have to come off of yours. So this is the original stand. And this is the new one, or at least the collector doll stand. We'll see if they've changed it in the regular plain line. This piece here, it didn't fit snugly around the waist. It almost formed a shelf for the doll to hang from, and it was very visible from the front, and I really didn't like it. I actually ended up using Kaiser stands for my custom doll. So I do like the stand. Thank you very, very much, MGA, for changing that up. I want to see if I can get some more of these, if they'll fit on my old stands, because if they do and they're available, I will definitely get them. So the doll overall, I think she is at least on par with the Bella that I really liked and my Poppy Cheer. I would have liked to have seen more hair rooted past the bangs. I know that they did this top knot, and it's probably sparse under here just to make it so it's not bulky. But yeah, I think one more step for a collector doll. Now remember, this is not $30 or $20 or even like $16, $17, which you can get the tier for now. This is almost a $60, well, it was $60 after tax. Also included in that gift set, the collectible gift set, was the Couture Gown from the episode, Art of Fashion, and that's what her box is labeled as. She's the Jett Dawson Art of Fashion doll, and I'm actually very happy with this dress. It is what's called a brocade. In other words, the pattern is woven into the fabric. So it's not an embroidery. This is not a surface embellishment. It's actually the silver threads that run on the back being woven to the front to make the design. And I like that. I like that a lot. The little sketch mark design goes all the way around the dress. I also like that. And you can tell that there has been some design work. The peplum actually says rainbow on it, so it has red, silver, metallic, and then the black. And if you look, like I said, you can see that it is a brocade. It looks like it may be some kind of polyester or nylon, some kind of synthetic material that allows them to heat seal the edges. So I am very happy with that. Because brocades tend to have a lot of threads on the back. This heat sealing means you get a very nice, clean, crisp edge. So I really like that. Now, a lot of people had described the skirt as tulle. It's not tulle. I'm going to say organdy or organza. Organza, that's the word I'm looking for, not chiffon. Organza is a sheer material. Traditionally, it's in couture, it's made of silk, but it's very stiff, and with some of the synthetic ones are that they can actually heat the edge when they cut it, keeps it from fraying. But what organza allows you to do is to have something that looks very sheer and airy, but is very stiff and holds its shape. And that's what we've got here. We've got what's called a chenille technique, where they take several strips, narrow strips, and sew them layered on top of each other or very close to each other, so that you get this kind of surface to it. And I'm not seeing any frayed edges. I'm not seeing a woven edge, so I don't think it's ribbon. I really think it is cut strips of organza, and very nice. Very, very, very nice. As a hand sewer and not a production sewer, and limited by my machines, it would take me several hours to do just this skirt piece, honestly. Yeah, to get all of those pieces sewn down, because you have to start from one side and then just keep pulling them up so that you can sew the next one close in. It is in kind of an organic random pattern where it kind of loops down and back, down and back. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors of organdy in here. We've got black, a kind of a deep burgundy rose color, more of a fuchsia type color, and then you've got a bright deep red that's the same tone, that orange red, as the skirt itself. So wow, that's nice. And we do have a printed sewn in tag. Oh gosh, I miss those days. The ribbons have been sealed on the bottom. They're just very narrow ribbons. Looks like, okay, so there has been some talk about the ribbons, how if you try to dress the doll, the strap comes off. I have one of my straps in the front is not firmly attached. It looks, it almost, because I can see the rest of the ribbon here, it looks like when they trimmed the threads hanging off, the person may have accidentally cut. Yeah, they did. They cut. So my front strap on my dress is just held on by just the tiniest of threads that's caught into the tulle. But I do like that. There's actually a little bit of tulle up here in the neckline, so it's not straight. They did put a couple of darts in the top. It's pretty good. So the bow on the back, it gets kind of bulky back here. So, but they did attempt to sew it. I do have a thread here I'm gonna have to trim off and clean up. I've got a couple of threads here that they just didn't clip close enough, and then I've got a strap where they clip too close and cut the strap. So I'm not gonna give them an A+ for the dress, but definitely an A minus for those two things. Again, for mass production, they're working quickly. To be honest, I worked in a factory sewing gloves, and a lot of times we're paid by the piece. So I could see this happening, especially if, you know, they're being paid by the piece. They get paid by however many that they complete in a day. So that little snip on the strap, I could very easily, I could even see myself doing that if I were home sewing the outfit and just kind of rushed it for a second, just trying to clear off the snip threads. It would have been very easy to do. So I'm not going to be upset about that, because I know about factory sewing and the conditions you work in and the speed at which you have to work. So overall, yeah, I'm not disappointed in the dress. I think this will actually be kind of fun. I may make myself a custom ruby. I actually started one where I dyed the bottom of her hair a black ombre, and I might try an updo. I know some people have said that they've had a hard time actually fitting this on the doll, and I can understand that. The opening in the back is not very long. It's just about maybe like an inch below the peplum that sits at the waist. So getting it over the hips, I'll just have to be very careful, and I'll fix that strap. I can easily tuck that in, I think, and just stitch it, and you'll never know. So very happy with that. Some of the pieces that she came, because she comes with kind of a play set. So she is our fashion designer, and every fashion designer has to have a form. Now, I have to admit, yes, I like this, and I may have bought the doll for these two pieces. The wheels swivel, and they roll. There's even a little star detail on them. So, yay! It is, there's a plastic form inside that feels kind of solid, or it's pretty thick. It's not thin plastic. I can't push it in. And it's covered with fabric, and it's actually two pieces that are sewn, and it's tucked in, and I'll show you guys a close-up of that. So there's no raw edges on the bottom of this dress form. So, and the top edge is very nice and clean. I wish I could have a dress form like this for me and for the big dolls. I mean, it's really nice. It appears to be the right proportions. The dresser maker in me wants to measure it and compare it to the doll's actual measurements. I do like the 2021 on there. It's kind of that Hallmark ornament thing going for me, which I like. The comes with a fabric tape measure, and this is really cute. We've got some metallic, like vinyl pieces to look like the metal ends on my real tape measure. It is marked in centimeters on one side and inches on the other, and it's accurate on the inches, I'll give them that. So you could measure something up to 12 inches long with this. So I think this is cute. I really like this idea that if a child got this as a gift, they have the dress form, they've got a tape measure where they can actually measure their doll. So I like that. The sewing machine, a lot of people have shown you that you turn the little knob on the side and the needle goes up and down. I think this is adorable. I've actually got a couple of remet sewing machines that are ultra realistic, so, but this is just kind of cute. Like I said, it's got like that Hallmark vibe to me. It kind of reminds me of like the little kids sewing machines that you can get in the toy department. They usually have this shape, so I like that a lot. That's really cute. She does come with 2 of the trunks. One of the trunks has her second pair of shoes, and these remind me very much of the pumps that came with Kia Hart, and that was kind of one of the deciding factors for Kia Hart, is I loved her rainbow pumps. They were a very classic design, with that gradient up them. I do like the little R and H for the heels. I think that's really cute. I am especially impressed with the fact that they actually did a ribbon, and it looks like you actually get quite enough ribbon to literally tie around her ankles like they suggest, and tie the bows. Tying the bows will be a little bit of a fiddly long process, but I do like the actual ribbons to go around the ankle. I like that a lot. I don't know if it necessarily matches the dress. Maybe if they had had some black on the shoes to match the dark of the dress, or silver instead of gold. But otherwise, these are adorbs. Absolutely adorbs. I do like the trunks. For display in the packaging, there are actually a couple of holes here on the bottom, so they're not watertight, but actually kind of like that. I think that's a nice safety feature. Kids stick something in there that they shouldn't. The painted details actually look really good. They have highlighted molded details, so just like her display box and everything else, it has those little brass or gold corners. She's got the little RH logo on the spot where the clasp or lock would be on a trunk. I do like that. And she's got 2 of them. One's a little bit bigger. That one comes with the hanger. And then in the package itself, we had the pants hanger and her comb, and they're kind of silver toned. So I like that. I think for the hanger though, I think I would have, I know this is for a shirt or for a dress, and it's got the little notches to hold the straps, but the rainbow on it kind of means that you can't use that center part of the hanger. It's simply for tops or uppers, but that's okay. I do like this. I really do. I wish I could get more of these for non-rainbow high dolls. I really like the little clasp for the skirts and pants for little tiny clothes. I really like this. But I did undress her, and I did take her hair down. That's why she's kind of got this Elvira bump thing going on. And to take off the jacket, I did remove her hands. And I know somebody said something about how they found it weird that she had a long peg and a short peg on her hands. Well, it dawned on me. This is for manufacturing, and also to kind of help you out if you're having to redress the doll and remove the hands. The pegs let you know which is which. So I thought this was really cute. She's got shiny, hollow pantsu. I thought that was really cute. So she has different articulation than the Series 1, Series 2. I don't know if they intend to continue this articulation for Series 3. Some people have noticed some improved articulation in the Series 1 that has been re-released. But she has her ankles. They do kind of flex up and down. It's not a huge range of motion up and down, but it definitely means the difference between wearing the flat sneakers versus wearing the high platform heels. So I think that's cool because she comes with sneakers, but she can wear her heels if you tip her feet down. You can rotate them out a little bit. So when you're posing the doll, a lot of times photography would have person point their toes to make their legs look longer. So I like that side to side motion. boots. She has the knee articulation. Now the fun part, and I've seen this and I wanted to try it, her knees are double jointed now. They changed them up just a little bit. She can't quite get her thigh against her calf, but she does seem to have more flexibility than the original ones. The original ones I could usually only get like about that. She's got wrist articulation, and you saw that the hands come out, and I like it goes back and forth, but you can also rotate it 360 out. She's got little black painted nails, which I think is really cute. I do like the, what's the word for it, kind of neutral hand pose that the doll has. Their thumbs are up. It's the pinky separated and bent out a little bit, so it reminds me of my Smartdolls, their neutral hand position, or my Tonners, their neutral hand position. So they can hold something because of the way the thumb is. But that little pinky out, and they kind of curve the fingers a little bit, it kind of gives that Renaissance painting thing that portraiture would do. So I like that. She does have good elbow articulation, up and down, and rotates around, so that's good. Her upper arm, it does rotate out 90 degrees, and it will go all the way back and forward, so that's really good. She can touch her nose. She can even touch her mouth, which is nice because that gives you options for posing your doll in a way to convey emotion or feeling or communication. So I like the articulation. And she also has, she's got her upper thighs. Those rotate in and around. And then she's got kind of this 2 or 3 part hip joint. It's got this little piece that slides out. So what that means is she can do, you know, cheerleader splits. It can come all the way 90 degrees forward. It can come back a little, so it's not perfectly parallel, so it does go back a little. So I do like that articulation. I like the way that that's done. They gave her, now Rainbow High dolls are very short torsoed, short waisted. So this is just above her waist, but what's just above her waist is also her bust line. So what they've done is they've included an additional articulation up here. And that allows you to do, in photography, what we call the S-curve. You can get one hip up, tip the torso back, rotate the head. So that's really nice. I really like being able to do that. That is one of the things that we've always loved about Smartdolls and some of the more articulated dolls, is they can do that S-curve for photography. Even my Robert Tonners, the model dolls, can't do that S-curve. So I like this swivel right here. I really do. Thank you guys so much at MGA for doing that. And lastly, my favorite, and it's something simple, but it's that little head tilt. She can look up, she can look down, she can look to the side, and she can kind of, you know, do a combination of, And when you're posing your dolls for photography, to me, that's something that really gives you the ability to give them that personality. The pieces that she's wearing, she does have her printed shoes, and there's a left and a right. I know that's a small detail, but I really like that. The fact that they do differentiate the shoes. So it's not much, but when you look at the shoes together, you can see that there is a left and a right shoe. She has these little fingerless gloves, and they're made of a very thin kind of pleather stuff. There's actually a little bit of elastic sewn into the top, so they do close over the wrist. And the RH is embroidered on the material. For kids, I could see these will probably be the first things that'll get lost. But they are very cute. I really like that attention to detail, like I said. And it's a right and a left glove. The stockings, we have I'm familiar with this pattern, so it's basically 2 pieces, but there's an extra loop cut out of the side if you drew them out flat. And what that does is that allows you to have the center seam for the crotch, and then to have the seam run down the back of the stockings. And they are flesh colored. They're not 100% opaque, but they're definitely not sheer stockings. So I would consider them kind of like a lightweight tight. The print is silk screened on the front, so it's kind of got that little plasticky kind of t-shirt transfer feel. They actually fit. They did really well. They're shaped very nicely. You can see where they actually did an attempt to shape for the foot, the calf, and the thigh. I liked that. The skirt itself, it actually is, the button placket down the front is printed, but it's actually an applique. It's not a flat front on the skirt. There's actually an additional piece of material. The waistband is separate. I like that. The pocket is printed on. They cut, actually it has a little bit, I can't decide if it's printed and then turned over. Yeah, it's not a piping, but the way that they printed the pattern pieces, this is printed, not brocade. The way they printed the pattern pieces, this little vinyl decal actually creates like a little piping on the skirt. And then it's a little thicker so that they could use that to make the facing on the sled. I like that. A little bit of Velcro in the back. They did not finish the side that fits underneath, and that has me a little worried because of the type of material it is. It's kind of a nylon or polyester that is subject to fraying. In fact, if you can see, it's already started to kind of fray just a little bit, just from non-movement, not handling it, but just the nature of the material when they cut it. There's a little bit of ribbon, little sheer piece, and that goes underneath between the legs to keep the skirt from sliding up to the torso, because they are so triangular shaped that without that the skirt would just want to keep riding up. So that's good. The tag's a little long for the skirt, so it wants to kind of hang down, but that's just a matter of tucking it back in where it belongs. The waistband is folded over, but it's not lined, and again you can kind of see some of the unfinished edges, but otherwise I'm pretty good with this. I have some vintage Barbie clothing and things like that, so it's on par with some of the better pieces of the doll clothing. The jacket has a little bit of a facing on the front sides. It is not finished, but it looks like there was some kind of an attempt to seal those edges, but the seal isn't holding. I may have to do some fray check. There's a few threads. It's not fully lined, but they did make an attempt to try to have those edges so that they would tuck in and hold, and I like that. I'm really surprised that they got these sleeves over the arms, because these are narrow sleeves. We do have the little plastic buckles, and this one works. These are just kind of looped through and then sewn. I can see some tack stitches. Looks like those were applied while the jacket was still flat. I do like the printing. I like the fact that this is a full 360 design. It goes all the way around. So you don't just have like Velcro, it's not plain. They actually thought and put some design into the back of this piece. So I like that. She's got a little hoodie underneath, and with them, with the size of their head and that, the hoodie is actually just kind of a couple of pieces, rectangles of fabric that Velcro so you can get it on and off the doll, but it's just supposed to kind of hint at a hood on the sweater. It's not meant to like go over their head. So, and that's kind of play line to me. I know it would be an exaggerated hood to have one that would function, but I actually have a couple of hooded sweat jackets I made. I can get the hood over the doll's head. So the R's on the sweater are actually printed. It's not embroidery, it's not woven, but it is all over. It's a repeating pattern. It covers all sides. We've got some printed jersey that's meant to look like the elastic, the ribbed finish on the sleeves and the bottom of a hoodie jacket, which I like that. Because you can't even see that when she's wearing the jacket and the display, but the sleeves are finished that way. The center is like a little applique that's embroidered on it, and it says Rainbow High. It looks kind of like a record. I like that. I do like the fact that these are all black and white for that very graphic nature. It kind of reminds me of like Keith Haring from the 80s. So I really kind of like that pop art look, and I really like that. I like the sparkles on the brocade to look like when we read comic books, you get those little flares. $60 for a holiday gift, or for someone who wants to use this doll to move it, display it, put clothing on it, sew clothing for it. I think $60 is an excellent price point, especially if this was, say, an older child who's starting to get into sewing and getting into fashion and those techniques and those ideas and those concepts. I think with the little sewing machine and the dressmaking form and the tape measure, that would be the perfect gift for an older child, maybe a younger teen that's getting into sewing, to give them something fun to play with, to sew for, to dress, to display. So yeah, I think that would be a good gift. If you're an adult collector and you like the whimsy, it's kind of a cute piece. For an adult collector, I would say this is kind of on the low end of the price points for collector dolls. She's got a lot of features that my more expensive dolls have, and I really like that. I think that's fun. She's not going to be as fragile as some of my other dolls, so I would probably feel more comfortable experimenting with her more, taking her out, trying to get more different poses from her, because at that $60 price point, it's not that precious to me. So as an adult, yes, I think she's worth the $60 for all of the things that she gets, and understanding what that price point will get you. This is not going to get you a pristine, perfect doll. She may have some issues, but that's just because of the nature of her manufacture. They're making thousands of these. They ship them all over the world. That given, I definitely don't think she follows into the holiday Barbie that only looks good in her box. I think that she does have some good playability. I wouldn't recommend it for small children. I wouldn't recommend it probably for my granddaughter who's 6. That's going to be too young. They may get frustrated if they can't get the doll easily dressed or undressed, or they might lose a hand, or they might lose a glove. So I think 10, 12, 13, possibly even 14, 15, so I think that would be a good range for the doll.